Greetings friends, it is I, Riku Khan, and welcome back to my video game collection series. Today, we are going to be going over my DS/3DS titles. I have a lot of them, and I'm just going to quickly go through them and just not do any stories for them because last video was about 40 minutes, and I really do not have much time to do this. But I'm also not going to rush because I do have at least an hour and a half to do this. I do have some games right behind me, but that's because my shelf is so full of them, I had to move them on my little chair right here. So, let's get started with Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. My only Castlevania game I've ever played and never beaten. I know this is a sequel to the Game Boy Advance game, but I don't know. I couldn't never beat it because the final boss just took way too long. And now we have a classic Square Enix game that I wish they would stop screwing around and actually get right. Chrono Trigger DS. This is about as close to a pinpoint port of the Super Nintendo, God, it's a hard box, to ever get. Except for maybe like a few problems with it according to H.C. Bailey. I don't know. I've never beaten it. I need to because it's a classic RPG and I Am Setsuna is just boring and bland. Alright. Up next, we have my first Dragon Quest game for the DS, Dragon Quest IX. Sentinels of the Starry Skies. This is the first one I've ever played, and I thought it was interesting because it was an RPG where you could create your own characters and class system. Kind of like Dragon Quest III and 6 and 7, I think. And yeah, I am starting to get into the Dragon Quest series because I have 7 and 8 with me, but that's down the road. And now, we have my only game of this entire series, Etrian Odyssey 3, The Drowned City. I know, I just remember watching clips of the first two games, and yes, he's got the instruction manual in the game, and I don't know, something just about that is a turn-based RPG in a labyrinth, and the soundtrack reminded me of the Sega Genesis. Unfortunately, I could never get 1 and 2 as a gift, but I ended up getting 3. I don't know about anything about 4, so we'll just move on with that. And now, we have Final Fantasy III on the DS. Another Square Enix title. We never did get this 3 until the DS/the PSP and recently the PC. Well, not recently, but you get the point. The DS version, I don't know, I just feel that it's kind of lifeless because the characters all have the same expression in the face menu, and it's like, oh, we're just going around saving the world from darkness, blah blah blah. So it's basically the story from Final Fantasy 1 with the jaw system of 5, but worse. Yeah, I would probably play more. I haven't beaten it yet, but just the fact that all the models have the same idle animations and the same facial expressions in the menu just irritates me. But now we're going to move on to the much better Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy IV DS, with voice acting, 3D modeling, and it's a little messed up in the corner, but I don't care. Instruction manual and the cart. Yeah, I definitely prefer 4 over 3. Although, I don't know if this is my real favorite Final Fantasy yet. I haven't played them all. But it's definitely better than 3. I did try to get the After Years on my Wii, but, you know, during the time the eShop was around, but I couldn't get it. And now the only way to get the full story of After Years is either the PC version of the After Years, where it's all 3D models, or Final Fantasy IV Complete on the PSP. And I haven't heard too many good things about Final Fantasy IV After Years, so I'm not going to mess with it. Get used to Square Enix games, because here's Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. a lot of people make fun of the franchise for having the most convoluted plot, and this being the slowest. I can agree that this game is probably the slowest entry of the entire franchise, but I still think it's pretty good. The fact that you can customize everything through the panel system is a neat idea. My problem with it though is you pretty much have to empty out your panel system pretty much every time you need to update it, and it just got tedious. But you know, after watching the Kingdom Hearts series recently, I can say the story's good. It's just the way it's written is just poorly. It just needs to be reread over and over again to finally understand, you know? Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, the black sheep of the family, recoded. A lot of people say that this game doesn't need to exist. I can agree with that to an extent. Sora needs to know about Aqua, Terra, and Ven, and he needs to get strong, which leads to Dream Drop Distance. They just needed to make a game out of it because they couldn't, you know, just say it until, you know, 2.5. Oops. I don't know, but imagine the panel system from 358, but done much better. Because once you place the chips down to upgrade Sora, you never had to pick them up ever again. So it's a much better chip system, or much better panel system. It's arguably the best version of the battle system it shares with Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance to me personally. I'm not saying those two games' battle systems are boring or anything, but this game alone, I just feel they were the most creative with their skill list, if that makes sense. Like, they just went full out crazy with it, and then you don't even get half of that zaniness in Dream Drop Distance. I don't know. It's a fun arcade game, if you will, because it's got so many genre shifts in it. But if you're only here for the story, just watch the cutscenes from 2.5 HD. And now we move on to something not Square Enix. Probably for now. Hold that thought on that. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. I own Superstar Saga. And this was, of course, my very first DS game I've ever owned. I think I got this and the DS on the same Christmas. Yeah, people say this is just bland. I personally think it's better than the next game, through a stretch, though. Just because I like the fact that it was 4 party members instead of just 2. And, yeah, it got time traveling done right, like Chrono Trigger. A lot of games these days can't get time traveling correct. You just gotta make it simple. I also own Superstar Saga. I've beaten 4 games out of 5 of this entire series. I'm working on the 5th one. And here's the next one, Bowser's Inside Story. The game that people give critical praise to for one simple thing. The fact that Bowser's a playable character. Cool concept, but it just makes you realize though, well for me personally, that Bowser's the one running the show. Mario and Luigi, they're barely even played at all. Just the fact that all 3 of them eventually get caught up in levels. I don't know, I just felt the whole game was based around Bowser, more so Mario and Luigi. Like, it was built for Bowser, and Mario and Luigi just got the scraps and leftovers. I don't know, I think they could have implemented the trio to work together better, in a way. But it's still a good game, don't get me wrong, I just wish it was handled a bit better, you know? It's not a bad game because Fawful's in it, and he's a great villain. Don't know if he's ever gonna make a comeback, though. Sorry, friend. Now, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong, March of the Minis. I actually like this series. Well, I've only liked this one, and maybe one other game that's on my 3DS, because it's a different genre altogether. The game actually starts with the Game Boy game Donkey Kong 94. Sorry. And that's where Mario got most of his modern moves. Then Mario vs. Donkey Kong came, which I do own, I just don't know where it's at. And that's when these minis were introduced, and Mario has the same moveset, and everything was like 3D models and whatnot. It's actually a difficult puzzle game, but it's pretty good. Then you have this game, where now the minis are the main focus, and you control them with the stylus. And then unfortunately the series just kept getting copied and pasted, except for one. And that's because it was more of a form a path to the goal kind of puzzle. And I thought that was much more interesting. But still, this is where it all began, and this is kind of where it started going downhill. Except for that one game I keep talking about. Speaking of Mario, New Super Mario Brothers. This one was not a gift, I got it for myself. I just remember having cash and I saw it. I'm like, oh, a new Mario game. I didn't even see commercials for it. This was kind of the start of the new Super Mario Brothers series. Some argue is probably like the worst that the series has ever gotten. I don't think it's bad, it's just a 2.5D platformer. And yeah, I would definitely say the worst of it is New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS. Because at least we introduced co-op mode, and you introduced new power-ups that were unique, as well as the baby Yoshis and Nabbit, and the world was very colorful. And this game has unique bosses compared to the others. That's just me personally. Now we have Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. How many of you remember this game? You don't? Well, I only remember being it once, and I thought it was just okay. The problem with this game is it's very, very easy. Like, I beat all the bosses but one on my very first try. And it took me that one boss a few times to kill it. There is a hard mode, but in order to beat it, you have to beat the tutorial boss with the starting character, and I just didn't have patience to even try that, and I just didn't care. I mean, I don't even remember anything about this game because it was just so easy, and I just beat it in a few days. I don't even remember how I got this game, but it's not horrible, but it was just too easy. Like, if you think Mario Brothers is easy, this makes it look difficult. Alright, and now we're on to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team. A friend of mine actually bought me the sequel, the Sky one, on my Wii U eShop. I actually need to get back to playing and beating that one, because it actually has a much more interesting story than this one. Not that this is bad or anything, it's definitely first game-itis though. Because the sequel actually has much more intriguing story, and I'm not going to get too much into detail. But this is definitely a step in the right direction when making a spin-off series. I've heard there's only been one bad game for the 3DS, but it's only just because it's generic and bland. But then they stepped it up in the next game, so get on them. Alright, and now, for the main series of Pokemon, Pokemon Diamond. AKA the most boring Pokemon game next to Pearl. I don't know, I mean, I just remember playing 4, I thought, it's just a generic Pokemon game, whatever. Then I watched Chugga Conroy's playthrough of Platinum. That's the version you want to get, because there's actually more detail and lore behind Pokemon mythos, while this one didn't have anything. It was just stop the bad guys, catch the legendaries, beat the Elite Four, the end. Platinum version actually has more in-depth to it, especially with Giratina being the main legendary. That was a cool game. Shame I got Diamond though. Makes you really wish they make the Cooperation games first before this. Oh well. Next, we have Rayman DS. How many of you love Rayman 2? Alright, I see a few hands there. I don't, but that's besides the point. How many of you actually want it on the go? This is it, basically. I didn't know this was a port of 2 just because of the title, and it uses modern Rayman. Instead, you look really hard in the back, it's classic Rayman, first 3D. And I prefer the PS2 version because of the hub world. It makes the game feel more alive, and yeah, I just prefer the PS2 version. This isn't a bad version though. You just gotta get used to using a D-pad for a controller. Although I wonder if the 3DS circle pad makes it feel better. I don't know. And hey, how many of you remember yesterday when I said the Sonic Gems collection was advertising Sonic Rush? Here it is. Yeah, Sonic on the DS. I had the Sonic Rush trilogy, and yeah, fuck Special Stage 7 for Sonic. Oh my god. The good news is, with this game, getting the special stages, you have infinite tries. Especially with Special Stage 7 with Sonic, you have infinite tries. Unlimited time limit, you can just keep going at it. My god, is it difficult though. I did eventually beat it, and I beat the final story. And the ending kind of made me sad a little, just because Blaze the Cat's like one of the best Sonic characters to be made in a long time. You know, after Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, you have Amy, Rouge the Bat, sex appeal of the character, Big the Cat, why is he here, peripheral, no one uses anymore, SBO, Charmy, Vector, Uno, Mighty, Armadillo, people want him back, but he's not even used, neither is Ray, Sonic the Fires had a few characters. Just to see Blaze the Cat just be Sonic but more serious and better, it's a step in the right direction for making a new character for the cast. And hey, Sonic Forces just announced that you can make your own characters. I personally think it's a good idea, but I am going to join the bandwagon of poking fun of it slightly. I'm not going to make fun of it because I just don't do that much. And hey, for those who think Sonic 06 is the worst game, or Sonic Genesis on the Game Boy Advance is the worst port ever, here's the worst RPG, featuring with Sonic's face shoved in, kind of like I'm shoving into the camera's face. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was decent when I was a kid and I first bought it. I never beat it. Now I'm seeing people say that it's actually garbage because the inputs are just god-awful, and I bet if I were to throw it back into my 3DS, it just, it wouldn't work. I'm sorry, but no thank you. And hey, we're gonna go back to Mario now. Super Mario 64 DS. My personal opinion, best version of the game. Because it's 64, but in handheld, you have 4 characters to play as, even though one of them is just completely useless, and one of them is just completely broken. And you just get more stars in it this time, and also had multiplayer. Never played it because I have no friends, but that's besides the point. I'm not saying 64 is worse than this one, I just think this one's better because it's got more additional content to it. And now, let's go into my favorite franchise of all time, The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Let's make sure I grab the right one. Yeah, this is the first DS ever with the Zelda title, where it was all touchscreen controls like Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, but it was done pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was how the dodge roll mechanic was sort of mapped to like the button input, so I think I've had maybe 1 or 2 times I swung the sword when I meant to dodge roll, and vice versa, but I don't remember. I never beaten it because the final boss required you to draw an hourglass, and I didn't figure that out because I was stupid. And then one day I was doing something like, oh wait, you're supposed to draw the hourglass. Duh. And now we're gonna go on to the other Zelda game, the one that people took shots at just because it had a fucking train, Spirit Tracks. I didn't beat this one, I just kind of stopped playing and I need to go back to it. Same control scheme as Phantom Hourglass, except now Zelda's your partner as a spirit, and you have to go save her body. So people are complaining that trains are just a no-no in the Zelda franchise. Really? Trains? What's wrong with the steampunk era? I mean, you have boats that run on engines, you have beetles that can fly through your arm and grab bombs and drop them off, I think. I don't remember. I haven't played Skyward Sword in a while. You have ancient technology guardians that can nearly one-shot you early game in Breath of the Wild. And you're complaining about fucking trains? Get with it, people. Wow, surprising we made a lot of progress in such a short time. I hope it's short anyway. Alright, now we gotta go to the bottom row of my collection. Oh boy. So, we're gonna start off with, hey, how fitting considering what's coming out in a few days. Fire Emblem Fates. Wait. Awakening. I didn't play Fates because I didn't like how they handled it. The first Fire Emblem to introduce character creation, so you're part of the story. And, yeah. It's Awakenings. Has my pan waifu, though. Why did I say that? I'm gonna leave that in. And, yeah. It's Fire Emblem. It's a tactics RPG. I don't remember much of it. I'm probably gonna start over and make Pan my wife again. Because I'm stupid. And, yeah. I just didn't like how Fates was handled. Let's split it up to 2 different games, and let's introduce a 3rd game that has the full content in it. I called it the moment I saw that. And it's like, why? I'd probably go with the purple group if I had to pick, just because of that one woman, I forgot her name. Well, that's stretching it. And now there's the remake coming out on Friday, and a friend of mine I know is getting it, so hey, I hope you enjoy it when it comes out, dude. Alright. And now, we have Dream Team, Mario and Luigi, the 4th game of the entire franchise. I remember getting this early because, well, I don't want to get too much into detail with that. And, yeah, the guidebook for it is actually pretty small, believe it or not. And yeah, this was when this was released during the year of Luigi, and Luigi's was the main focus of this one. He kind of starts the adventures in the next game, Paper Jam, but that's for when I actually get to that game. Also, there is a game I completely forgot on the other shelf. These aren't in order, I think, but Epic Mickey Power of Illusion. A friend of mine recommended I get this because he knew I loved this franchise, and it wasn't that expensive online. And yeah, I had a gift card, so I just bought it there and then. It was a short game, but it was a fun short game. To quote H.C. Bailey, I would rather play a short, good game than a long, drawn-out, terrible game. And this is what this was. Sadly, this was released on the long side of Power of 2, and I think that's kind of why Power of 2 didn't do so well in the end, which is why a 3 is never going to happen. Rip that franchise. But this was a good game. I just felt, though, that the thinner mechanic didn't play that much of a role in this one. Because the whole point, you know what, I'm going to say that for the Weave section, so, yeah. Alright, back to the bottom row. I put this game up right. And now we have Pokemon Y. Spoilers, I skipped Pokemon Black 2. I have it, I just forgot to get this first. Yeah, it was the first Pokemon game of 3DS. And yeah, I picked Y just because Yveltal looks the coolest, in my opinion. Xeraphis is a deer. I have a poster of it right next to me. And yeah, it's Gen 6, probably the Pokemon with the worst post-game of all time. I mean, even Diamond had a better post-game than that. Platinum made it better, but that's besides the point. And I skipped on Sun and Moon because, I don't know, I just wasn't as hyped as everyone else, even though there are some cool Pokemon in it. And hey, who knows, maybe if Pokemon Stars is true on the Switch, I'm gonna get that and say, hey, I finally joined Gen 7. I just have it in high definition. Woo! Alright, next game. People are gonna raise an eyebrow on this one. Nintendogs. Ooh, a lot of dust in this one. Here's... Did I get 2 of these? Well, anyway... The funny story is, this was a freebie. I gave my mom money I got from birthday and Christmas, and I said, hey, can you go get my 3DS, can you go give me my current 3DS I have now, and Pokemon Black 2 for me? She's like, yeah, sure, okay. And this was given to me for free. If you hear barking, sorry, I can't help it. Oh, I guess I put the game back. But yeah, it was a freebie with my 3DS, so that's all you need to know about it. The next game is kind of going back to the DS, but Brain Age 2. I've never played this. Are you wondering, why do you have it then? Answer, my stepfather has it and the cart is missing. I'm going to assume he has it. Nor do I care. It's a mathematic game and I just don't care. You know, he just gave it to me and just said, here, have some games, and I'm like, sure? I guess? I was hoping he would just give me his DS Lite because my DS battery was utter shit at the time, so I finally got myself a 3DS. Speaking of his games that I'm never going to play, Flash Focus. Again, never played it. Oh, this is brand new. Hey, he wants to do an unofficial unboxing of it. I'm kidding, I'm not going to waste your time with this. I am never going to play it, and yeah, it's from Brain Age, and again, stepfather gave it to me, and he just said play it, and I just never did. He didn't buy it for me, he just had it. Anyway, next game. Hey, remember when I told you that Luigi's Mansion finally got a sequel? Here it is, Dark Moon. And the game did a lot of things right. And it did a lot of things wrong. Mission-based instead of full exploration mansion, except for a bonus mission. Pretty much. Same story though. It's Mario, they never get a good story. Except for Galaxy with hidden lore, but that's besides that. Haven't beaten it, pretty good game though. Alright. Next, we've got Animal Crossing New Leaf. My first and only Animal Crossing game that's part of the main franchise. I do have Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which you all seen the unboxing of, but by the looks of things, I'm never going to be able to play it because no one else in this house plays games with me at all, so. Well, what can you do? You're the mayor this time, Isabel's your secretary, and that's all you need to know. You play this one, you pretty much play them all. And that's the way I see it. Except for Happy Home Designer. Don't know much about that one. It's not for 20 bucks though. And now we have The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, aka the semi-remake of Link to the Past. Same mechanics for the most part, but it was a really good Zelda game. Great time. I do own Link to the Past via the Virtual Console, so you know, I am a Zelda game. The only Zelda game I currently don't have is Triforce Heroes. I didn't think the game was going to be part of the lore, but apparently it is. So much for that. I'll get it one day though, just to say I have it. But that's not top priority. Alright, now we're going to go back to Pokemon real quick. Pokemon Black 2. Why did I get... Wow, White 2. Why did I get White 2? Because Rillaboom is the cooler looking legendary. That's why I make my Pokemon decisions on, based on the legendary. If I was interested in Sun and Moon, I would have gone with Sun. I skipped Black and White 1 because it just didn't look that interesting. It was like, oh yeah, you know, Pokemon can move now. Okay, same mechanics though. Oh, you got triple battle, because double battle wasn't enough. Rotation battle. Why does it exist? It was never brought back in X and Y. No wait, was it? Don't think so. Don't care. And then I actually heard there was some good story with it within, And the sequel, well, this is the only Pokemon series you ever get a sequel in, besides Pokemon Colosseum. And yeah, it was definitely a hard game, but I did beat it. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna watch Black and White 1 just to catch up with it. But yeah, it's a good game. And here's a game that I actually forgot to mention in my GameCube collection, because it was actually downstairs. As well, it's rather the Cortex, but people don't care about that game either. Super Smash Bros. 3DS. Yes, the first Smash Bros. Game on the handheld market finally came true. And yeah, it's Smash Bros. I don't know how much more I can say about it, but I did get this in the Wii U version, which did score me the soundtrack over there. And yeah, it's Smash Bros. I just don't like what they did with Adventure Mode. If we're gonna go with an Adventure Mode the next one, can we just make it Melees? You know, the only redeemable factor about Melee, actually, because I think it's overrated, it's crap. While Smash 4 on Wii U is the best one, currently. Just me, personally. Next, we got Chibi Robo Ziplash for the 3DS. Yeah, this is an odd genre changer for this little robot. And yes, I got bundled with the amiibo over there. It's a 2.5 platformer where you use your plug as a weapon. Interesting change of formula. Kind of wish, though, that Chibi Robo would just go back to its roots, personally. A platformer is a good step in the right direction to make it more action-y, but, you know. Chibi Robo is a franchise that I actually have grown recently to appreciate more because it was weird. And the first game, it was all about scaling a house and solving everyone's problems while keeping it clean. It may not sound that interesting and exciting, but if you actually watch it, it's pretty good. And then the second one, you actually take care of a park. The third one, aka the worst one, you take pictures with an inaccurate camera on the 3DS, so it's download only. And then you got this one, an average platformer, as people say, but average doesn't mean it's bad. I need to get back into playing it, but that's for a later date. And here's the next one, my first level 5 game, Fantasy Life. And it got DLC for it. It's kind of open, it's not open world. Oh, I know where the case is for this. It's in my big 3DS case that's got games in it. Don't worry. And yeah, you pick your own class and then you go through a story. I haven't beaten it. I need to because I heard it's pretty good. Why did they make the sequel on mobile devices? I don't know. Now we have Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. You ever play Monster Hunter? Well, here's a brief synopsis. Kill monsters, gather material, use material to craft better equipment, use better equipment to kill bigger monsters. That's what you need to know, the basics. But each one changes differently. This one introduced new weapons and mechanics, like jumping on monsters and slashing their backs and whatnot. And my personal favorite now, the charge... I forget what the weapon's called. I haven't beaten this one yet. I've beaten 3 Ultimate, and I need to beat 1 and 2, this one, and Freedom. You know, I got a whole bunch of Monster Hunters I need to beat. And I'll get to it one day. But for now... Oh yeah, we're going to go back to Pokemon real briefly. Pokemon Omega Ruby. Nothing wrong with this game. I just got bored. I don't know why I got bored. I was just playing, like, you know what, this is just, I don't know. It's probably because I just finished Pokemon Y at the time. And this has got some great legendaries in it, like Aldino. I think Pokemon Shuffle for her. And, I don't know, I just kind of stopped playing it. I need to just beat it and get all the Mega Stones, even though it doesn't look like they're carrying on Megas anymore. Stupid. And hey, just when you couldn't get enough of Square Enix games, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. It's got time traveling in the story, but not that bad of a time traveling story. Just remember, the bad guy was at a certain spot during time, and he's using that to transfer himself. So he's not time traveling, he's just going to different parts where his whole body went through time. That's it. It's not changing anything or any of that. That's just how they do it. It's a great game for the 3DS. Got remade on 2.8. So if you never played on the 3DS, you can play on your PS4 now in 60 frames per second in glorious high definition. And then play some short demo of Kingdom Hearts 3, but that's besides the point. And yeah, I liked it. I just wish it wasn't, you know, as empty as it turned out to be, but I can sort of forgive it for the 3DS because it's limited in power. But Kingdom Hearts 3, man, they need to add NPCs in there, make it more alive. And please, please make 3 on the Switch. It can support Unreal 4. And hell, try to get 1.5 and 2.5 on there, or at least on PC. I want to play those, man. I don't have a PS3. I might, though. Or I might just get the PS4 version altogether. Alright. And now, the very last one on my shelf. I still got more. Legend of Legacy. I got the collector's edition for my birthday. Don't worry, the card's in that big case, like I said. It's an RPG made by the people who made... They made an RPG series that Square Enix kind of just stopped caring about. And, yeah. In this game, you're trying to find the elixir, the star elixir or whatever. I haven't played forever and I need to get back to it. I picked Aloys as my character because I like mages. Except for Phantasy Star Online 2 mages, they kind of didn't do too good with that one. I don't know, I kind of stopped playing. But anyway, that's enough for the shelf one. I still got games from behind me, and it's gonna look like I'm pulling them out of my ass, but what can I do? So, let's pick this one that doesn't have a case in it, or a box art, because I haven't picked it yet. And this is Dragon Quest IV. There we go. The start of the Zenithian trilogy, where you didn't pick your own classes, but it was called Chapters of the Chosen, because you were playing as other characters in their own chapters, which led to the hero. I thought it was a neat idea, and I got it. And except for one character, everyone else is pretty useful in their own way. And the DS version, unlike the NES, has additional content. A new party member, more story, a new final boss. Yeah, it's a great time to be had. I would definitely recommend getting the DS version and not the NES version. Alright. Monster Hunter Generations, also known as Monster Hunter X. It's the same thing like for Ultimate, except they got new mechanics. And you go to multiple towns in this one, and I haven't even opened this one yet because I haven't beaten 4 Ultimate yet, and I need to. It's a sin. To me, at least. Bro, Jared would hate me. Kirby Planet Robobot. The only Kirby game on the 3DS I will ever own because I don't know. But they do have new power-ups in it at least. And I'm not saying that the other 3DS game is bad, it's just this is the one I picked up because Triple Deluxe, I don't know, I just thought it'd be too short, and then apparently the final world in that game is then about boss rush. Pass. But this one did introduce the current RPG that's free to start. There you go. I only played it one time though. Yeah. Alright. And now we're going to go on to arguably the best unheard DS JRPG of all time, rating it Historia. H.C. Bailey did a full playthrough on it. I wanted it, got it for Christmas last year, I think. Instruction manual included, and the card. This game came out years ago. Perfect condition. Good to go. Soundtrack's amazing for DS quality. Like, holy crap. Look it up when you get the chance. It's amazing. And let's see. Final Fantasy Explorers, a Square Enix. You actually had a Monster Hunter game called Lords of Arcana. But guess what? You only released the first one on PSP in limited quantities, and you made a sequel for the Vita. And look how many people are playing the Vita. Actually a lot, but I don't have one. And you never released it in America. Thanks. So instead, let's just take Final Fantasy and shoehorn in Monster Hunter mechanics. It's not a bad game by any means, and you can play with friends. I just stopped playing it. I need to play it though because it's a good Monster Hunter game for Square Enix standards. Not that they're bad, they've gotten better. And now we're gonna open up this 3DS case. I know it's 3DS. Paper Mario Sticker Star. I loved Color Splash, and Sticker Star is not that bad of a game. I know people are going to call me blasphemous and shoot me later, but Sticker Star is a good game in my opinion. It's not the best Paper Mario game in the franchise, but it's still pretty good for its own merits. But it's definitely got the case of first game ideas. Because everything this game did wrong, Color Splash got right. For the most part, sort of. Like those slot reels you need to give yourself more commands, that's gone. You only use it to get more cards in Color Splash. But details. You're not here for details, I think. Here we go. Oh, I'm missing a game. Well, here's Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Yeah, that's the 5th game I'm working on, where both side games actually end up collaborating to a great RPG. And I just beat a really fun boss recently where they're using the battle cards, which is what you use throughout the time. That's a great twist. Alright, I know I have it somewhere. Alright, so after some quick searching, I found Dragon Quest VII, my first Dragon Quest game on the 3DS. Yeah, it's Dragon Quest VII, and apparently you do get job classes. But this is a remake worth looking at because I love the battle theme. I wish we got the orchestrated version. Don't know why we didn't get it, but I don't care. It's a great game. And, you know, you're not chosen heroes. So there's plus to that. You just conveniently solved a puzzle and now you're in this adventure trying to restore the world. That's pretty cool. And speaking of Dragon Quest games, here we are. Didn't have much trouble this time, so I'm not going to add this out. Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King. Hate the fact they added subtitles. Yeah, it's the PS2 classic on the go. And hey, they didn't censor Jessica, you fanboys. You naughty fanboys. But yeah, in addition to that, you actually get 2 new characters. And that's pretty cool. I haven't gotten that far in it. I love the world map music. Don't like the battle theme, but it's not that bad of a battle theme. But the world map theme definitely makes you feel like you're on a grand adventure. And I can appreciate that with RPGs. And again, you're not a chosen hero. You're just having to get tagged along for the sake of getting tagged along. Now I'm going to try to grab these next 3 games in order here. And this is the last one. We have 999, Virtual's Last Reward for 3DS, and Zero Time Dilemma. All 3 of these games are under the 999, or the Zero Escape trilogy. And all 3 of them are available on Steam. Like, all 3 of these just got recently ported. I've only played this one, and I need to go back to it because the story is really engaging. It's a text-based game, so it's sort of like a visual novel, but there are puzzles to solve, and they do make you scratch your head. And they're really, really good puzzles. You and 8 other passengers are on a boat, and you need to escape. Technically 7, because the first one dies, but I'm not going to spoil much. As for these 2, I don't know what they're like. I haven't even opened this one yet, because I really want to beat these in order. I say in order because if you look on the very top, it says Volume 1, and the other 2 say Volume 2 and 3, as perspective. And, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna add some more Nintendo stuff in here, just to wrap this marathon up. Again, if you hear dogs, I'm sorry, I can't help it. Now, recently I got this thing called the FC Mobile 2. Well, it wasn't recent, this was like years ago. It plays NES games on the go, and you can plug it in. And the quality's really good of it, the quality of it is really good. So try to pick it up whenever you can. I got some NES games right here, actually. Sure, I could have just emulated them to save a few bucks, but where's the fun in that? Plus, these are titles that are never going to get a download release, so... First one we got, from Sunsoft, Batman on NES. Yeah, this game's never going to get a release. And it's a really difficult NES game. Good though, and fun, if you can get past the first stage. Next we got Kresti. Yes, an action RPG on the NES. One of the few that have 8-directional input. And yeah, the only time it ever got a re-release was on the Game Boy Color, but they removed the functionality of having sword weaknesses, so it was like, what's the point? So on here, yeah, it's the original game and it's good to go on the go. Next, we have Ninja Gaiden. I think this did get a download code, but I didn't know what else I wanted at the time, so I got this. It's Ninja Gaiden. It's a difficult NES game, but you have unlimited continues at the time, so why would you quit? You have no reason to quit other than just patience problems, which I do have. And to wrap things up, we're going to have a very obscure game that I'm surprised no one else has ever heard of. The Guardian Legend. Yeah, this is an interesting NES game. It starts off as like a top-down space shooter when you're a ship, but you're not gonna figure this out just based on the box, on the card art alone. But then you go inside space shuttles and you transform into some android who shoots things, so now it becomes a 8-directional shooter. And yeah, this is just an underrated, unheard of NES game. And it's pretty good. Password system can go fuck itself though. Oh my god. This was definitely during the times when the passwords were made to be cryptic on purpose. But it's a pretty good game. It's really unheard of though, and unfortunately I don't think it's ever going to get a sequel or a reboot or a download release, but here it is. And, well, I might do a review on the FC Mobile one day. Not today, I got this video going long as it is, and I need to clean up around here. So, tomorrow, we are going to do the Wii and the Wii U. And then after that, my PlayStation collection. Ooh boy. So, until then, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.